Aloha, everyone. Aloha. My name is Amanda Vallone. I'm from Roseborough Travel Agency. On behalf of the whole team at Roseborough, thank you for attending. Today's event is Here Today, Go to Maui. So who's ready to go to Hawaii? Right? It's exciting. We have two presentations today for you. The first one's going to be with Trafalgar. They're a wonderful tour company. I love them. I go on them often. And the other one is Norwegian Cruise Line, the cruise line that sails around the Hawaiian Islands. My rep for Norwegian was not able to attend today, so you get to hear me talk about cruising around the Hawaiian Islands, but luckily I just did that itinerary about 2 years ago, so I will be able to go off of personal experience, and I will tell you the ins and outs of all things if you go Norwegian Cruise Line. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Ariane from Trafalgar, and she's going to tell you everything there is to know about touring Hawaii with Trafalgar.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Amanda. Thank you guys for all coming. Thank you. And thank you, Roseborough Travel, for being a great account of ours and supporting us as always. We really greatly appreciate that support. My name is Ariane Lewis. I am the district sales manager for North and Central Florida for Trafalgar Tours. How many of you have been on a Trafalgar itinerary before? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Very good. How many of you have done a guided vacation? 1, 2, 3, maybe four? Very good. Well, we appreciate that, and I'm going to get this PowerPoint started for you. Find it. When you think about wanting to go and travel somewhere, you always want to think about the people, the places, the experience, places that you've been to, and why you want to go there, right? It's all those things of, it's just on my bucket list. It's something I've always wanted to get to, and I don't know if I ever got a chance to go and experience it, or I wanted to go because I wanted to experience the Hawaiian culture, or what they're known for. I wanted to go and experience a true luau. You know, it's those types of things just to say that you've been there, you've done that, you've saved yourself some time, and bragging rights. With Trafalgar Tours, we've actually been in business for 72 years, celebrated on this past May, which we were very excited and proud. Stanley Tolman, my chairman of Trafalgar Tours, I just saw him 2 weeks ago, sharp as any needle that I've ever seen for an 89-year-old calling all the shots for the Travel Corporation. I actually represent 3 brands, so there's Trafalgar Tours, Brennan Vacations, and Cost Saver. And this year, for the 2019 selling season, we are very excited because we are actually on 7 continents. We are operating in 73 different countries. We have over 306 different itineraries to provide for you this year. And being 72 years in business, the handful of you that have raised your hands with us, you are one of the 5 million travelers that have traveled with us, that have had stories to go and tell as well. So we are very grateful for that. So thank you very much for traveling with us. We do appreciate that. how many of you have had that experience before when you've gone somewhere and you have to figure out how you're going to get from point A to point B? How many of you have had that experience? We've all been guilty of it. Let's just put it out there. We've all been guilty of that. You know, what if you had that experience where knowing that you've gone somewhere and knowing that somebody can show you the way, right? Knowing that you've got a travel director that's going to show you these great little hidden gems, places that, you know, these travel directors are kind of ambassadors for the country that they're actually representing, to be able to show you places that they're really proud of, or places that, yeah, you knew you wanted to go there, like you knew you wanted to go to Oahu, or you wanted to go to, you're here in the US, you're in Florida today, and you're gone now tomorrow. You know that you wanted to go and experience these things, but what if there was a hidden gem that you just didn't know about, but the travel director did, they could actually be able to show you that? How great would that be? Or what about if you had somebody else doing the driving for you? Not trying to figure out the map and saying, okay, this looks like it's only this far away, but really it's like 5 hours away, and you actually have to go and do it yourself. Knowing that our travel director and knowing that the driver are the ones that are going to take care of your luggage. So you're not going to have to go and schlep it everywhere you go, and knowing that they're going to have your hotel rooms already accommodated for you, knowing what rooms you're going to check in, knowing that they're also going to have your luggage ready for you, but also knowing that when you're going to go and travel, you're going to have other like-minded travelers as well. So you're going to get a chance to make new friends and meet new people, and get a chance to know more about the culture too, from where these people are traveling from, because we're a worldwide company. We're officially in 7 continents in 2019, so that's exciting stuff. I mean, 2018 we're in 6 continents, but you know, new and better, bolder things coming for the new year too. So we're with you all the way. For those of you that have actually traveled with us in the past, you know that we actually go by all of your reviews. Everything that you tell us about, what was good, what was bad, what we can improve on. The Tolmans, who actually run the travel corporation as a whole, they're the ones reading that feedback. So everything that you're saying, we do take into great consideration. And so 72 years ago when we initially started, this is the family themselves. So this is 4 generations, family owned, privately owned, and is still up and running today, great and successfully as well. So this is when I went to Hawaii a handful of years ago. I will tell you personally. So I initially had my little hot oven, and I also got paid, and also got a chance to go. My thing of the reason why I wanted to go to Hawaii was because I wanted to go and learn how to surf in Oahu. So with that, knowing that I was also going to be one of those 5 million travelers as well, to go and experiences and hearing different people's stories and places that I wanted to go, and what was my reasoning? Because I wanted to hang 10. I wanted to know how like the Hawaiians did. You know, I wanted to know and feel like I was one of them as well. You know, that's what you want to go for. You want to be able to say you were a part of something, right? So with the overall 6 different experiences with Hawaii, with Trafalgar Tours, we have 4 different itineraries, as which I'm going to be talking about the Hawaiian Explorer specifically. It's an 8-day country explorer. The nice thing with the country explorer is that you're specifically just, you get a chance to go and see the city centers, but you have more at leisure time. You're not as rushing and going on the go. So you'll have 2 to 3 nights at different authentic accommodations that we do provide for you. And just knowing that it's a little bit slower pace than a lot of the other tours that we do have available as well. So with that, we have our 8 different types of travel styles, which with Hawaii, we have a lot of country explorers, and we also have a discovery. And you know, you'll find that, you know, whether you're looking to go to Hawaii with us, or if you're looking to travel somewhere else doing Trafalgar, cost saver, or even Brandon Vacations, knowing that we have multiple different travel styles, which I'm sure there's the right one for you specifically. So with that, I want to welcome you all to the good life and going to Hawaii. So when you think about going somewhere, you really do think about the overall 6 sense experience. You think about the smell, the taste, the touch. What about the food, the people, the culture, the sound? What did it sound like when we went there? It's those types of things that we try to provide for you. someone's going to give you the historical facts, things that you want to know. Sir, why would you want to go to Hawaii? You want to see the hula dancer, so we all. Where is my hula dancer? Amanda, can you be the hula dancer?
I left the skirt up front.
Okay, well either way, I might have some hula somewhere along the way. I don't know. I'm hopeful, but I think I might have something there for you. You know, you want to be able to go because you want to go and experience the hula dancer. So our travel directors will try to point you out in the right direction to make sure you get a chance to go see your hula dancers. But they're also going to take the stress out of travel for you, knowing that you've got your driver that's going to get you from point A to point B. You've got your travel director that's going to have, you know, a reserved table for you so you can go and enjoy that luau that you've been looking so forward to. Or knowing that, you know, they're going to have all of your luggage taken care of for you. But they've saved you so much time. You're not having to worry about waking up that day and saying, what am I going to do today? Versus, hey, I know what exactly my day is going to look like. I'm going to save myself so much more time. And I'm going to gain bragging rights. I may get a chance to learn how to hula like the hula dancers. You know, it's those bragging rights you want to come home to, right? I don't know that my hips can shake like that, but who knows? You never know. Maybe you'll come home and yours will too. So it's those types of experiences that you get a chance to know. We have these experiences that are called Connecting with Locals. They were called a Be My Guest experience, and what they are is exactly just that. You want to get a chance to know how the hula dancers hula, how their hips shake, and you want to get a chance to know about what really brought them home. What, you know, they're opening up their homes to you, where you'll get a chance to learn about a farm-to-table type of local luncheon, or getting a chance to learn more about how they do sustainability and farming and things like that, to learn more about their story. Because how many of us are guilty again, where you've gone somewhere, but you never really got a chance to know what people are known for there. You never really got to know specifically what are they famous for? Or did you know that they were new for this? What was that?
What is it like?
Or what's their life like? What's a day-to-day look like? What is, you know, what are they most stressed out about? Because what we're stressed out about today might be a whole different stress for somebody else tomorrow. And it's those types of things that we really do try to bring to you. So you also get a chance to know everybody when you're going to travel somewhere, knowing what to prepare yourself for. So those are the things that we do try to have you have an experience to rub elbows with the locals, get a chance to break bread with them, know what their everyday looks like, or what it would look like in a day in the life with them, you know? And it's those types of experiences that you can have. We do have a really great experience where, how many of you drink coffee? Yeah, I know Amanda and I are hands way up. Okay, so for those of you that are coffee lovers, we have a great Connecting with Locals experience where you will go to the Kona Coffee Tour and get a chance to learn how they actually crop and harvest the Kona coffee beans, and actually go through the process of actually turning that into what we drink on a daily basis and how we look for the best coffee possibly in Hawaii. There you get a chance to go and experience how they actually do it from start to finish, overall experience of harvesting those coffee beans, and get a chance to come home to it and why we spend so much money in coffee beans. So you get a chance to learn about those overall experiences. You know, you get a chance to learn also about our travel directors and their personal stories. They very much feel like an ambassador for the country that they represent. Now granted, we're in the good old US of A from Hawaii, but you'll get a chance to meet a travel director named Joe. Joe was actually born and raised Hawaiian, and all he wants to do is basically be able to show you all the great things that Hawaii is known for. And when you think about going to Hawaii, why wouldn't you do it guided? Knowing that, you know, if you were to go individually on your own, trust me, we've all been there, we've all probably, a lot of us have tried to go do it. You think about the expense, how expensive it is to just get there, and how overwhelming that can be. Initially you're thinking, hey, I'm only going to spend X, Y, Z on this. And I remember Joe had brought up a really great point to us, I saw him a couple weeks ago, bless you. He brought it up to us saying, you know, hey, I want to go to Hawaii, but I want to know that my meals are included. With Trafalgar, they already are included. So you're not living at the ABC store. For those of you that have gone, know the ABC store. For those of you that are going to go, you'll know about the ABC store. But you'll basically camp out there, and everything gets to be so expensive. But knowing that those meals are taken care of for you in advance, it takes out the stress for you as well. So it makes it so much easier to know that and have those new types of grateful experiences. I remember when I saw Joe, we laughed because I was like, hey Joe, where's the nearest McDonald's? It's like the cheapest meal I can go get for lunch one day, so I wanted to go to see the USS Arizona Memorial. He goes, Ariane, don't worry about it. I would suggest for you to go down, you know, it's like if you want a true Hawaiian meal or if you want real great pork, go down the street, make a right, and led me to one of the best found gems. It was this little food truck. that was a local, like a friend of his, and he had led me down this road, and I was like, this is a great little spot. And he's like, I only tell people that are looking for a good sandwich. And then he had, if someone was looking for a 4-course meal, he also told you about that. But he really kind of felt, he was very proud of where he came from and just the way of life. And so it's those types of things that they really want to provide for you. And they really do go so far above and beyond for you. They're not your just typical travel director. They're the people that are going to show you the places that they want you to know about as well. So if you've ever had a chance to go and experience Hawaii, you're going to look at some of the most beautiful views of the turquoise blue waters, getting a chance to just kind of see the overall city centers of Honolulu itself, which is really great because actually on the first 2 nights you're actually going to go stay with us, you're going to arrive into Honolulu International Airport. Depending on flight times, it takes about 24 hours with flight times and everything to get there, depending on how that works for you. But with that, you're going to actually stay 2 nights at the Outer Ring Hotel in Waikiki Beach, which is actually a beautiful property to go stay there because you do have a huge great point with us for going to Hawaii is that you've got 2 nights. You're staying there and you've got different types of views to choose from. You can do a city view, you can do a partial ocean view, or an oceanfront view room. So depending on the stays you're actually going to go for, you actually have an opportunity to have an actual oceanfront view room. So wouldn't you like that, right? And I promise you get time to actually enjoy the view. It's not take a boat and you saw it, you slept there, and then you're on the road the next day. I promise you do get that chance to actually enjoy it as well. Everybody does actually ask, do we get free time? With Hawaii specifically, it's really built in. It's about 50% of the time is touring, and then the rest you're on your own. Of course you got your travel director like Joe, and he's going to tell you places you can go and see and experience, but if you want to be able to have that downtime to go and relax and enjoy, in your case, if you want to go and just see the city centers, if you want to go shopping, if you're looking to go and try to surf like myself, you too can have that type of overall experience and enjoy all the great things that Hawaii has to offer. So we want to make sure that you're truly just finding out your happy place of why you want to go and why you want to be there. So also with the Outer Ring, where the Outer Ring Hotel is located, it specifically gives you the most beautiful views of Diamond Head, which is just absolutely amazing because people will go and run out on 12 lanes of highway traffic just to get this iconic photo of Diamond Head specifically. But just definitely a really great overall experience. So after you've arrived in getting a chance to experience Diamond Head, and you've gotten a chance to go and meet the other that traveled with you as well. So if they're coming from anywhere in the world, they could be traveling from Africa, they could be traveling from Asia, from Canada. And it's nice with the actual coach itself, just know that our travel directors do kind of rotate you on the motor coach, just so you're getting a chance to learn about other travelers. What are they interested in? What are they looking for in their overall experience as well? So it is really nice. So they're not dancing your hips, but I got you a little, I got you a hula dancer, so I'm hoping that this helps you out. So it gets you in the mood a bit, right? Now, when you go and you're actually on technically your second day traveling with us, you'll get a chance to go and experience the Pearl Harbor Memorial. So back on December 7th, obviously Pearl Harbor had happened, and this is a huge factor with Trafalgar, is knowing that the stress is taken care of for you. You're not having to go and run and get the tickets in advance. Our travel directors have already done that for you. With Pearl Harbor, the memorial site, to go see USS Arizona Memorial, it's nice because they only have a handful of tickets that are provided throughout the day. I think there's only like 2,000 guests that are allowed to go and experience and see this. And so knowing that we already do that for you makes it so much easier and nicer knowing that's available for you. I know when I tried to do this on my own once, I never got a chance to go and see it. But when I did it guided, knowing that this was already taken care of for me in advance, I didn't have to wait in a long line. Talk about time saved and not being stressed out and having bragging rights. I could just walk up and to be able to see this. This is a great benefit and advantage for you all as well. So this is the overall aerial shot. Now there are different types of optional excursions that we do provide where you too can actually get an actual iconic photo like this as well. But it really truly is amazing to kind of just see all the ships come in and to go through the overall history of the harbor, to be able to have that and seeing the oil spill. This was back a handful of years ago, I can tell you personally, but to see this and just seeing how high the oil barrels were is really still unbelievable still to this day. And just to walk through it is really a wow factor. Now, Amanda and I were talking about this as we were setting up earlier, and I don't know how many of you have heard this that have gone to Hawaii, depending on the current and how the water is moving that day, depending on how many times the leg looks like it's coming back to you will also mean the amount of times you're going to come back to Hawaii. Have any of you heard that same analogy? For those of you that have been? Okay, that's what I was told. Anybody else want to share a story that they were told? Now, okay, well that's what I was told. But either way, which I truly do believe that because I was fortunate enough to go back and forth to Hawaii at least 2 or 3 other times after that. But it was nice to know that that was an actual opportunity to go and see and experience. This is actually when you go into the USS Arizona Memorial, you'll actually see the names of everyone that fought and unfortunately lost their life that day. You get a chance to see the overall memorial of that too. Now with that all said, you also want to go because you want to go because it's a tropical destination. It's a beach. You want to go and experience and just kind of put your toes in the sand and relax. Now I will tell you that depending on the time of year, the ocean can be a little bit rougher depending on the time of year that you're going to go and travel, but still an amazing destination to go. And I did get a chance to go and try. There was a gentleman named Hero. I don't know, that's what he told us his name was, and I was going with it. I paid him $20 and I said, Hero, my name is Ariane, and I just want to, the reason why I came to Hawaii was I wanted to learn how to surf. I wanted to hang Big Ten, I wanted to know how to do it like the locals do, and try to figure out if I could actually ever go and do this. This was my whole entire reason why I wanted to go to Hawaii. And so he had given me the overall land lesson, you know, kind of going through the motions of everything. And then about 2 hours later, they had actually put me on the water and they said, okay, paddle. So I started paddling. So I was paddling as hard as I could, is what you felt like the little engine that could at that point. And I got out there and then all of a sudden I stood up onto the board, I looked both ways, and I actually did right away. So I was like the best $20 I ever spent to go and learn how to surf. Thank goodness to a little Japanese man named Hero. He's truly my own personal hero at this point now. This was back a handful of years ago, but it was a really cool experience to go and have it. So I was able to do the things that I wanted to personally do and conquer in Hawaii. But you know, when you think about authentic accommodations, you want to think about the places you're going to stay. If the walls could truly only talk, right? We try to give you some really cool hotels that have stays with stories, places that are really going to have beautiful oceanfront view room options that are available for you, that are guaranteed. So knowing if you're going to be on Best of Hawaii itinerary, or if you're going to go do the 4-island Big Hopper itinerary, we're trying to provide you places that you're going to want to go see, stay, and experience and learn more about the cultures and the things that they do have available. But knowing that we're guaranteeing an oceanfront view rooms, when a lot of other locations you might have to be across 12 lanes of highway traffic just so you know and maybe even see the ocean. The fact that we have that, that's a huge selling point. That way you're right on the beach and you have immediate beach access. That's a great selling point, I think. If I'm going to go all the way to Hawaii, that was something I was personally looking for, so I'm hoping you are too. Knowing we've done that for you makes life easier as well. So after you do your 2 nights in the outrigger, then you're going to go and do 2 nights over at the Sheraton Kona Resorts, which is right here as well. And like I said again, you do have your city view, your partial ocean view, and then you also have your oceanfront view rooms as well. So once you leave there, so that gives you at least a little bit better idea of partial ocean view. You know, if this building wasn't in our way, that would have been totally oceanfront view room. Even though the ocean wasn't right there, that helps you justify it a little bit better.
Now, the oceanfront room is extra.
Yes, it is going to be a little bit extra, but of course when you talk with Roseborough Travel, they're going to help you out, just knowing that the price point may vary the slightest bit based on different room categories, but we wanted to at least have that available for you because understanding, knowing it's a tropical destination, we want to make sure that we provide that for you as well. So when you think about authentic expertise, we want to make sure that you're going to go and also experience the Hawaiian Volcanic National Park. Because why would you? You've gone all the way over there, you want to be able to get a chance to go see the volcanoes. I'm not like going to put you super close. I mean, you're not having to ride on lava, but I mean, we'll get a chance to go and see it and experience the actual natural beauty of what it has to actually offer. There are optional excursions that we do have in order for you to enhance your vacation experience. Now, this is nice because you can actually do a helicopter tour to go and see this and experience it. So that was something I wanted to also go and do. I mean, surfing was like the #1 priority, but then followed by getting a chance to see an actual aerial shot of a volcano that was not erupting that day. That was great. That was always much appreciated. But just to see that, you can too get a chance to see that and experience that as well. So just to kind of know what type of overall experience that you're looking for. As you were saying, we do have our Be My Guest experience where you'll get a chance to go and meet with Joe and then the local owners of the Kona Coffee Tour, which is fantastic. And hopefully you'll get a discounted price, or at least you've gone all the way to get your coffee beans that day for sure. So when you think about where are these Kona coffee, where are these beans actually from? This is a great little map to kind of show you the difference of the koala from the Captain Cook Island area. That's where we initially actually start you out on. And I mean, this is a huge demographics where I think it actually stretches across the main island for about 4.5 hours worth of drive time. So you do have quite a large majority of time of where that actually physically is though too. Now, after you get a chance to finish your Kona coffee tour, and you get a chance to see that this is what the actual coffee beans look like when you go and first see them. Did any of you guys know that? I didn't until I saw it. I was like, that's a real thing. So it was cool to actually get a chance to go see and experience that. But you'll get a chance as you go through Hawaii, and you'll get a chance to go and experience Maui. You'll get a chance to go and after you've gone to Honolulu, you'll work your way to Maui, and you'll have a day to do your local city tour. So Joe will go in and show you all the things that Maui is known for. And once they go to do that afternoon and the next day, you are totally free to be. So you have that free time to go and relax if you want to go onto the beach. The nice thing with this Hawaiian Explorer itinerary is we do include the inner air on this. All of our actual itineraries, the 4 that we have for the Best of Hawaii, the Hawaiian Explorer, and the Hawaiian Discovery and the Hawaiian 4 Islands Adventures, all 4 of them actually include the inner air. You just want to talk to Roseborough Travel and worry about getting your air from Orlando or from wherever you may be from to Honolulu. But it is nice that the inner air is actually included as well. Now, what I will also tell you is that Joe will be still with you. He'll still be around in the local area to say, okay, if you're looking for suggestions or if you want an optional excursion or something to look to do, they will have that available. If maybe you're kind of been there, done that, kind of over the whole beach scenario that week. Maybe you want to look for something else to do. They'll have other things that are available for you as well. Now, with that, we ultimately do look for having those different types of experiences of keeping it to being the real thing. Not only being the real thing, but we also want to make sure that it's effortless, it's easy for you, knowing that all of these things are taken care of for you. You got a chance to go and meet the hula dancers. Maybe you came home and you got a chance to learn how to hula. And then you get a chance to show your new moves to your wife. Isn't that exciting? So it's those types of things that you get a chance to go and have. It comes home with new bragging rights and the time that you've saved and the stress that you're not having to worry about a thing. So we try to keep it fun as well, and making sure that you get a chance to make lifelong friends. There's gotta be more of you that want to go to Hawaii, come on. So with that, let's take a ride, come and join us, and make sure that we do have some really great opportunities that you can go and look through Roseborough Travel. Be one of those 5 million travelers that have traveled with us as well. We'd love to help you out on that. With that all said, we've also built these itineraries based on those experiences, and with that, you can even go and look on trafalgartours.fifo.com. Those are the reviews of people that have actually been on our itineraries before, to be able to see what other guests are saying about those specific itineraries in themselves as well. So make sure that you go and check those out. But we love travel, and thank you to Roseborough Travel. Give me one moment, sorry.
My Norwegian rep only found out today that she couldn't attend, so I'm doing her presentation for her. However, I'm going to do the presentation as if I was your travel agent telling you what I think you should do instead of only selling you Norwegian. So when my Norwegian rep watches this video, she probably won't be the happiest because I don't sell all of their experiences. But I do think that honesty is really the best policy for you to have a great Hawaiian adventure. So I will tell you what Norwegian does and what I would recommend at the same time. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
So here today on Maui is the theme, and Norwegian Cruise Line really is the only cruise line that we recommend on a normal basis to every single person coming into our office looking for a cruise to Hawaii. The reason for that, when you're looking for a cruise that does the Hawaiian Islands, you want to go and spend the most time on each of those islands as you can if you're not doing a guided vacation. When you're doing a guided vacation, you're staying in hotels and you're getting more land time. But on a cruise, if you were to do any other cruise line, any single other cruise line, they have to go and stop in an international port because they are not an American flag ship. Norwegian Cruise Line, their Pride of America, is actually an American flag ship, and that means that they have mostly American crew, and they can go to all American islands. Whereas any other company has to stop at, they either have to go out of Vancouver or stop at Ensenada, Mexico, or somewhere else along the way. And the amount of travel time that they have to go to spend more time, you get less time in each port. So that's why we recommend Norwegian for Roseborough travel on a normal basis for those of our passengers who want to go on a cruise. So this is the Pride of America. The Pride of America is a beautiful ship that's been refurbished several times over the last few years, and once this year as well. They've had a little perk up and update. And that is the beautiful Maui coast in the background. I have to tell you, it is one of the most gorgeous scenic cruising experiences that you can have. Typically they go, it's your last day in port, you're sailing away and you're watching it just before sunset. So it's a really beautiful experience to be able to sail along and see the Maui coast. So where do you start? You begin by flying into the island of Oahu, you fly to Honolulu, and from there Honolulu is the exact opposite of anything that I would have ever thought of for Hawaii. Big city, tons of stuff, takes 30 minutes to get somewhere that should only take 10 minutes. It really shocked me. For the first time that I went, I thought, ooh, I'm not really 100% certain about Hawaii here with this first experience. But you land and you're on the Hawaii hype, you're excited, you get laid in the airport, you have the people come pick you up. There's lots of lays around here. But it's a really great experience just because of the vibe. But then you go to your hotel. Now, travel agent Amanda says, don't stay at the hotel that they offer you here with the package. Stay at the Outrigger Waikiki that Ariane was talking to you about, the Trafalgar stays at. The reason for that is there's very few hotels that are actually on the beach in Honolulu. It's surprising, you wouldn't think so. I mean, it should all be beach, right? But it's not. And those beach views can actually be a block away from being at the sand. So we always, pretty much everybody in Roseborough Travel recommends that you stay at the Outrigger Waikiki. It's an amazing hotel, really beautiful. I have to tell you, there's great places to go for breakfast. There's tons of shopping right around there, as well as beautiful views right on the beach. There's also a place inside of this hotel, it's called Hula Grill, great happy hour, and the best calamari I've ever had in my life, and I don't even like calamari, and it was amazing. It's enough for me to talk about it and tell you, you have to do it. You can do a outrigger canoe at Waikiki Beach, a canoe experience. Some people go and they just absolutely have to do this. I have to tell you, the water's a little bit rough there, so it's probably going to be kind of strenuous, but it is a great experience to be there, to be on the beach, and you kind of forget about that hustle and bustle from getting to the airport to your hotel. So you are on Waikiki Beach, you're having a great time, and you can do things like Ariane had said, go surfing, or just go walk up and down the beach, have a great time. As I said, there's tons of shopping, tons of things to do, and I think it's mandatory to stop at an ABC store.
I think it is mandatory as well.
So where I'm going to start with Norwegian is that you are, hang on, I'm going to skip. These are the islands. This is how they take their route. So they go along They go along Oahu from Honolulu. You go over to Maui, and then onto the Big Island, and then up to Kauai, and back to Oahu. They're in and out on Saturdays. So 7-day cruise, in and out on Saturdays. And you are able to do some pre-nights and post-nights, which is what we recommend. The time change makes you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and think that it's 7. So it's definitely worthwhile to go a few days ahead of time and enjoy those beautiful sunrises that you will definitely get the opportunity to see because you'll be up so early. Okay, so you do have the opportunity opportunity to go over to the North Shore if you go in a few days ahead of time. Some people often like to request going in ahead of time so that they can see that surfing experience. Watch, maybe if you don't want to be the one surfing, like I wouldn't be the one surfing, you can at least go watch them. It's a really interesting thing. The other thing, all right, so we are clicking ahead. I'm sorry, this has transitions on it. So you'll board the ship in Oahu. Now, before boarding the ship in Oahu, my group, what we did 2 years ago, was we took a tour first thing in the morning, and we went to the Pearl Harbor experience. So, as Ariane was kind of telling you about this, there's tickets, and only so many tickets to be able to go, take the boat ride, get on, and do the memorial. It also pertains to weather, if you can actually get over and get off of the boat, or if you even can go on the boat that day. So a really important thing is that you know to go early in the morning for this experience because you have less of a possibility later in the day, less tickets are available, and you have to stand in line and wait to be able to go do that. So just like to warn people ahead of time, especially if you are late risers, don't be a late riser on this day. It's very important for you. Regardless if you go over and take the boat ride over or not, it is an amazing experience, very sad, very touching. And I highly recommend at least doing the museum portion, and they have a video before you get on the boat. So it's a really great experience to go do. Now, you board the ship in Honolulu, and I have to say that it is the easiest, besides river cruising, the easiest cruise boarding process I've ever experienced. Very pleasant. You know, how many of you have been on cruises before? Everybody, right? When you board a cruise, especially bigger ships, you get on and you kind of stand in line, and if you're Diamond or Plus or whatever, you get to go a little bit faster. And some of the higher end cruise lines you get to go on and you sit in a chair and go through a boarding process. Everyone's a little bit different, but most of the time you're standing for at least a little bit to get on board. When you're boarding your Pride of America ship, they have Hawaiian dancers already there waiting for you, right? They're dancing, they're taking pictures, you're getting laid there as well. It's really all about the Hawaiian vibe. So it was very nice. We all walked right up, got right on the ship. It was the easiest cruise ship boarding experience, aside from river cruising, that I've ever had. So what are some of the reasons besides beaches that you would be interested in going to Hawaii, in general, Hawaii? Some people go for whale watching. So whale watching is very specific months, not at the end of this slide, very specific months, December through April only, and it's essentially before they go back to Alaska. So it's their migration time for 3,000 miles for them to get back to Alaska. There's scuba or snorkeling experiences that you can have. And then in Maui, you will have an overnight. Maui, if you're going to do the Rotorua, which is what people most often know of for an excursion, this is this road right here. It's got over 117 twists and turns and curves and spins on the road. We actually don't recommend people drive it themselves, and if you do drive it yourself, your rental car company only lets you drive so far, because when you're at the top of that cliff and looking over, you actually see cars and trucks and everything on the side. So no rental car companies, not that I don't want to scare you, rental car companies don't allow people to rent a car and drive it the whole way. It is an 8-hour excursion if you choose to do the whole one, and you have professional drivers who drive those roads on a normal basis. I think Oprah has a house out there. You stop several times along the way, but I highly recommend not going with the big ship cruise excursion, but but going with a small branded excursion, I can give you the name of the one that I went with, that only has 15 or less passengers on each bus that they do. They're luxury coaches. Because the big buses cannot get on all of those twists and turns either. So you only go so far on the excursion if you take Norwegian's excursion. So I like to tell people that who are going to Hawaii that they know ahead of time that they want to go on the smaller vehicle experience. You also see things called rubber trees along the way and rainbow trees and all sorts of interesting foliage. This is going to be flipping back on me. And this is just one of the views of the road to Hana. Of course, you have all of that black volcanic rock everywhere you go, it seems. And it really makes for a beautiful landscape. So you are in Maui overnight on this cruise. So if you're going to do road to Hana, it's going to take 8 hours, and you have to do it on your first day. The second day, what I did and what I recommend, but you can do various other things. You can do helicopter rides. You can do all sorts of great experiences. When I went, it was the centennial anniversary of the national parks. So I wanted to go visit some national parks. We went to Haleakala National Park. And when you get to the top of Haleakala National Park, it is like Mars. They have silver swords and all sorts of weird and interesting plants that look like they belong on Mars. And they actually have filmed several movies up there that just look like Mars, that's it. So it's a really neat experience to be able to go to Haleakala National Park. There are options that you can go bike it and hike it and do all sorts of things. But we took a Jeep because that was easier. So that was a great experience for us. And then we went to Lahaina and we enjoyed just the festivities of the day. It was 4th of July that day. So they had a nice, they had an event going on. They had little craft fair style thing. It's really interesting, great places to eat. And we did not need to be back on the ship until later that evening. So we had 2 full days in Maui. Of course, you can do a rainforest zip line. You can do the Circle Fire helicopter tour. That's flipping that. Okay. So you're on the big island now. You go to Hilo. Hilo is one side of the island. And you have several various different things that you can do, but coffee plantations. There's this little white church that is historic that you should go and visit. And then you can do the lava tubes. Now, lava tubes are actually hot molten lava that cooled very quickly and then cooled with this arch that you can actually walk through the centers of the lava tubes. So this is probably at least 7 foot tall. My 6'4" husband fit in there without ducking his head. So it's a really cool thing for us to see and experience. Clearly not the lava's hot, but it is definitely a cool thing to go and experience. Now that's Volcanoes National Park. Along the way with Volcanoes National Park, another thing that I like to tell our cruise passengers, Volcanoes National Park is a really awesome experience, but I also don't recommend going on Norwegian's tour. I recommend a different party because, again, smaller vehicles. I had 20 people go on the smaller, 3 different vans, 10 people apiece. I had most of my group go on the other tour company, and 2 of my passengers went on the Norwegian one because they decided at the last minute to book. They only got to see about 1/3 of what the rest of my group did. So when it comes to planning your excursions really make what you're doing in the destination. So I highly recommend doing some of those smaller excursions, the different unique experiences than the big bus experiences when you're on a cruise ship and just kind of going to each destination. You, of course, can go golfing along the way if you would like to. This is an opportunity for you in Kona. And then they have, of course, these great historic tiki, Kona tikis. And we were able to go and see them. There's a park that's all on sand and historic buildings, and you wonder how in the world they were even able to stay standing when they're on sand like that. And you can go snorkeling with sea turtles. So that's one of the things that I think was really interesting, the black sand beach, the green sand beach, the sea turtles. They're things that stand out to many people when they are traveling to Hawaii. This is the Big Island Spectacular, so it's of course the scenery that you'll see. And Waimea Canyon. Waimea Canyon was gorgeous. It is the Grand Canyon of the Pacific. It is spectacular. Again, one of those things I recommend a small tour experience than a big Norwegian Cruise Line excursion because they get to more places along the canyon. If you are into hiking and walking on uneven ground, you will walk on uneven ground if you go in certain places. It's really cool. It's a great experience to be able to walk down portions of the canyon and back up again and see the difference in the lookout points that you go to. But if you are not a good walker, you can also go and do that. I will point out my mom for that. She actually travels in a wheelchair anytime she's on a ship like this or any other experience. And she did this tour with us, but she got out, stuck at the lookout, and then did not go like a crazy person hiking down the canyon. So you can do it no matter what activity level you have. And I keep going on, sorry. Okay, so while you are leaving Waimea Canyon, you're there for 2 days as well in Kauai. Kauai is the Garden Isle. You also can go to Fern Grotto while you're there, which many people like to go and experience. And one of the top things on a Norwegian cruise experience to do is a luau. So Norwegian actually has a luau that they promote and they offer, and I would recommend Norwegian's luau over the one I did in Honolulu. So I'll be honest with you on all of those levels. Their luau is very nice, and it's they really promote it a lot while they're on the ship. It's a much more unique experience and a fun, entertaining evening. So at least while you're in Hawaii, you have to go to a luau. This is the Wailea River. And of course, the views of the Nepali coast that I was telling you about when you're sailing away on your last day. You'll get those gorgeous views of the Nepali coast, and I think they call it the Lay of Hawaii. So in going on a cruise ship, there's pros to that for the experience. Like, you only have to pack and unpack one time, maybe two if you're doing 3 nights. You have several different places that you can eat on board the ship. And I will tell you, food in Hawaii is expensive. It is very pricey, so being able to go back to the cruise ship is a great experience to know, okay, I don't need to pull out my wallet again and again and again. And they have several different dining options. They have the Skyline main dining room. They also have Aloha Cafe, another complimentary dining experience, and one of my favorite places, the sushi bar, and teppanyaki grill. So they have several different included dining options, as well as Norwegian is very much so known for some of their, where if you pay like a cover fee, optional dining experiences for the specialty dining. There are several lounges that you can go to on board the ship, and of course workout facilities, spas, that sort of thing, kids club, gaming. It's the same normal cruise ship experience. They do have the theater, they do have things to do on board the ship as well, and a great back deck that they have entertainment and music out on. It was refurbished, the cruise ship was refurbished 2013, 2016, and 2018. So you know that it's been refreshed several times. It's actually been refurbished since I was on it, and it looks much more cosmopolitan than it did before. It's very nice looking. Very clean lines. It's a nice ship. The rooms are as follows. You've got 2-bedroom deluxe family suite available. It's quite large accommodation for those families sharing a room. You have a deluxe owner suite with a balcony. You've got your owner suite down with a balcony. Deluxe penthouse. The balconies are quite large on these. You've got your normal balcony stateroom, which I like to recommend being on a balcony because you get that opportunity. Like we were there and the lava was flowing, and everybody was up on the top deck straining to get a view of it because it had been the first time it was flowing in several years at night so that you could get the glow. And we just went out on our balcony. It was gorgeous. We didn't need to fight the crowds. You've got your normal ocean view stateroom, and you have your inside stateroom. Now I will tell you, my sister-in-law went on this trip. She went as a single, and she was going just the most affordable way. She went in an inside cabin, but was up on the 10th level, so right out back was that outdoor lounge area that I told you they have the great music. She's like, this is my balcony. What are you talking about? Because she was only two rooms away from the back door, and she loved it. And this was the largest inside stateroom I had ever seen. So it was very nice. I would definitely book it myself. And then they have studio staterooms now. So this is solo passengers who don't want to pay the whole 200% markup. They actually have studio staterooms as well for a little bit more affordable price. Little smaller. And then they have Norwegian's Free at Sea. So this is a promotion they have. Now Norwegian, how many of you have cruised Norwegian before? Okay, several of you have cruised Norwegian before, and most of us know that the perks that they offer, really great ones are like drink packages, Wi-Fi, shore excursions, specialty dining. Now, Hawaii is a different beast. There's no all-inclusive resorts in Hawaii. There's no all-inclusive experiences and no drink packages on any Hawaii cruise because it is state law that they cannot offer that to you. Excuse me. So the Norwegian's Free at Sea special, the 5 options, if you are normally one that adds the drink package, it's not available. There's a pre or post hotel option, prepaid service charges, specialty dining, shore excursions, and friends and family sail free. So I like to tell people that in advance so that they know and have that plan. All right, so you get to learn 3 words in Hawaii, and the first one that you need to know while you are there is aloha. Hello and goodbye, aloha. The second one is ohana. Does anybody know what ohana means? Cousins or family. Pretty much everybody calls one another ohana. That's my ohana. Ohana, ohana. They refer to everybody as ohana because they're all family. They're all connected. I have one of my short excursion guys that I'll text and say, hey, I have 2 clients who are looking to go and do Volcanoes National Park. Do you have this date available? And he calls me Ohana, and I'm like, I'm definitely not your family, but I'm thankful that you think of me that way. So it's a really endearing way that they talk about people and to people. And then the last one is mahalo. Mahalo is thank you. So mahalo, everybody. Thank you for attending this presentation today. Norwegian does have some promotions that they're offering. The free at sea experience, whether you're going on a Hawaii cruise or any other cruise, they have perks and promotions that they can add. As well as anybody who books after any Norwegian cruise after this presentation for a week will get an additional $25 of shipboard credit, chocolate-covered strawberries, and a bottle of wine to your stateroom. So you get a little bit of extra perks with that. Does anybody have any questions on Hawaii, on Norwegian, on anything else? Yes?
How many people on the ship?
Good question. I don't know off the top of my head, and I will find out for you and get back with you on that. I am the worst person, worst of all, for knowing the number of people on a ship, so that's okay. That's fine. Anybody else? It's not an overwhelming, I can probably look it up. It's not an overwhelming amount of people on the ship, because I get very overwhelmed with the big ships. I prefer like 200 or less people, the river cruise amount of people on a ship. So I did not feel overwhelmed about it. Yeah, it was a very comfortable size ship, but I will find out for sure. Any other questions? Let me see if she has anything else on here. Nothing else? Well, I did have a request before we came in here, and I'm promoting a trip to Cuba. So I'm going to go over that very quickly because I was requested to bring it up. I am promoting a trip to Cuba on Norwegian Cruise Line. It's May 20th of next year. It's going to be just 4 days, and you spend an overnight in Havana. The thing with anybody going to Cuba is you must have a passport. You don't need a passport for Hawaii. That's something else I forgot to bring up. No passport for Hawaii necessary, just your ID. You must have a passport to go to Cuba, and you must purchase a visa through Norwegian Cruise Line, is the way we recommend it. It's $75 added to your booking in advance, and you have to say you're doing the people-to-people experience. So we send you the visa information in advance, and when you fill it out, you have to say you're doing that people-to-people experience, because Americans still, even though it's all over the news that we're able to go to Cuba, you are able to go to Cuba, but not for tourism. You're going for a people-to-people experience, or an educational experience, or a religious experience, or various other things. But the way that tourism gets to go is because you're going for a people-to-people experience. And we recommend doing a Norwegian excursion when doing that, whether it's seeing the old classic cars or going to the Tropicana, whatever it is that draws you to Cuba, because that is how you get back in and back on the ship with that visa and saying, I did my people-to-people experience by doing one of Norwegian's excursions. Does anybody, I know that this presentation wasn't set up for Cuba, but does anybody have questions about Cuba in general?
It looks like it's, you get there at 8 in the morning, you stay overnight, but you leave the next day at 6 a.m. What is really available overnight?
So overnight is typically, for the most part, it's that Tropicana experience. It's the local nightclub and the flair, and because we're not there for going out clubbing and all of that, it is what is historically known. So really it's going to Tropicana. A lot of people will go and want to visit the paladors, which are their houses that the Cuban residents, the Cuban citizens, they have a hotel essentially in their own house. They rent out the rooms and everything. And within their home, there's not restaurants everywhere on the sides of the street. They actually have paladors where they cook for you in their own home. So you can go and have a palador experience. You can do a few various different things, but some of the excursions are a little bit later because of that. It's the food and the culture, and they're known for their rum and their cigars and their old cars and the paladors and that sort of thing. So it's definitely a experience to get out and mingle with the people. There's great artisans out, and you can come back with art and various different things as souvenirs, but not a lot of souvenirs because they're a little restricted on that too. So it's such a new thing for tourism, even though people to people. It's such a new thing for these cruise ships to go and do. What we hear the most in our office is, I want to go now before it changes. I want to go now before all of the cruise ships are going in. I want to go now while I can. The thing about going to Cuba on a cruise is you're spending one overnight experience to get there and have that. Some tour companies offer, are you in Cuba yet?
We were, and then we actually had suspended it due to, for the 2019 selling season, we actually did suspend it. It was Cuban cigars to muscle cars. We actually had we suspended the itinerary due to travel warnings and then advisories, so we suspended it in our case, and I believe almost all my competitors did.
Yeah, there's so few opportunities to do much of Cuba, so either you do, they have, some 7-night cruises that go to Santiago de Cuba, they go to Havana, they go to Cienfuegos. There's several different opportunities and options to do, whether it's tours or cruise, but you kind of have to know what it is that you're interested in going for. If you want to just get a taste of Cuba, then the overnight is very good. If you want to know all of Cuba, everything you possibly can, you want to do the 7 days and do a tour or a cruise that goes around. So there's a few different options there.
Are all the options with Norwegian?
No, you can do, and Norwegian reps can hate me for this. You can do, Oceania has a great one. You can do, I think Azamara has one. You've got Royal Caribbean has a few 8-day cruises. I'd like to recommend to anybody who's not doing only Cuba to do a Key West stop and call it Hemingway's tour. So there's various different options available now.
So any tours include Guantanamo Bay, or is that all one?
I don't think so. I'm not certain. I don't think so.
Oh,
That's,
The group that you have going, is it leaving out of Fort
we're leaving out of Miami and we are taking a bus. Yeah, we'll get that together. Some of the people are flying in from New York and various different places, Texas, I think we have some, but those who are local, we're going to take a bus down to Miami together. So nobody needs to worry about the drive. Any other questions?
is there a price yet, or is that too?
There is a price, and I can get that for you. It starts at $449 plus your Visa and your services. So it's about $725 per person based on an inside cabin with all of the Visa fees and taxes and everything. Any other questions? Thank you all for coming. Thank you for attending this, and thank you for bearing with me on the presentation. Bye.